Ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'll give myself a 10. In the fat girl community, I would give myself a 10 out of 10. In society, I'd give myself a 7.5 out of 10 to be realistic.
I'd give myself a 10 as well.
Yeah, I would give myself a 10. I think everyone should give themselves a 10.
I feel like my confidence is like a 10, but societal standards maybe like a 7 or 8.
I would say 8 too.
I'm a 20.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right.
Since we're all going to lie, I'll just be a 20. If the other girls who are there are assessing themselves at a 10 societally, how in the world could you possibly be assessing yourself at a 7?
I mean, other than being
You mean the big thing? Like the literal elephant in the room?
I'm dating celebrities, billionaires, millionaires. And a lot of guys don't want to admit that they like girls because of guys like you, where you would turn around and look at your friend and be like, oh, I can't believe you like that whale. And then he feels really unconfident and then goes to my page and spends $800 to collect my content. It's a lot of like, maybe if you made your men counterparts more friendly, you would realize what a broad taste of women men actually have.
Most of the dudes who are running around with chicks are ugly dudes.
Okay. Oh man, Andrew Wilson. First of all, we see Brian's face. We see Andrew's face. And Andrew Wilson has the best expressions. The best expressions on the planet. Okay? Just the best. And you see all of these girls that are saying 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10, 10. The girl that's morbidly obese, let's just talk from a health perspective. She is morbidly obese. I'm not here to insult. It's just a fact, right? You look at somebody, you could say they're grossly skinny, right? It just is, right? Let's just be scientific about it. She's morbidly obese. She says she's a 10 in the she calls it the heavy world, whatever you want to say. And then she says a 7. And then somebody else says an 8. And he says, I'm a 20 because this is all lies. Now, okay, listen. Again, women, somewhere along the line, you got told that you should just say you're a 10 plus all the time and have that vision. And here's the problem with that is that you say, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10. You're not a 10, right? You're not objectively. You're not a 10. You say, I'm a 10, and then you want the 10 guy. You go out to the bar and you see a guy that's got all of the things, the finances, everything, and he happens to be a stallion. He looks like a walking supermodel, and you're like, well, I'm a 10. So that's, my turf. No, except that you're actually a 5. So here's the thing. Be confident, but not delusional. Be confident, but not delusional, okay? And there's also something, ladies, I know society tells you now, I'm a 10, be overconfident. Oh yeah, girl power. But there's something really beautiful about humility. And when that is real, when you are a 9 or a 10 and you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm like a 7. And you really feel that way because you're not enraptured with your looks and you're actually humble. That girl becomes a 12. Because its humility is so beautiful in women. There's nothing more attractive than an attractive woman who doesn't think she's super attractive and doesn't weaponize her attractiveness. She just is. And it's usually the girl next door type with not a lot of makeup and not a lot of embellishments. That's just a pretty girl, but she's not using that to get the guy. She's not using that to sleep around. She's not using it for anything. It just is. And it's a beautiful thing. Guys, you know that the prettiest women are the ones who don't think they're the 10. That they have a lot of humility. It's a deeply attractive trait in a woman. Humility. Deeply. Across all, not just looks-wise, but across all fronts. Now, the other thing in society, and we're going to talk about it, and if we get flagged, screw them, is this elevation of obesity, right? Now, you have this woman who is morbidly obese, who's saying she's a 10, who's saying, first of all, she's saying that she's, got all these guys. I don't know what kind of content she does. She's got all these guys looking at her content. Maybe she's got an OF. I don't know. I didn't look into it because, frankly, I didn't want to see the page. It was not something my eyes needed to be exposed to, if you know what I mean. She's saying that she's got athletes, she's got this, she's got that. And Andrew Wilson comes back and says, well, no, most of the guys who are going to date someone who's overweight, they're going to be ugly, he says. I would argue that usually they're overweight. It's true. When you see a very overweight woman, usually standing next to them is what? A very overweight man. Because it's just not it's not realistic. If a guy cares about his fitness, that means he cares about his health. It's not just about what you look like. It's not just like, oh, I want to look good. It's I want to feel good. I care about my health. I care about what's going on in my body. I care about longevity. You care about all those things, and you can't care about those things and then choose a woman to be beside you who doesn't care about any of those things. You're going to want the mother of your child to have a risky pregnancy because of obesity? No. You're going to want the mother of your child to not be able to chase after a young kid because she's just loaded with blubber? No. It's not healthy. So this elevation, and you see, they're in all the magazines now, this elevation of the obese woman is dangerous, right? And now you've got like the obesity modeling and all that, which I think has fallen by the wayside a bit. thankfully, in the last year or so. But this, oh, everyone's body is beautiful and every size is beautiful. Well, it's not. It's not, because part of being beautiful is being healthy. And it's doing a huge disservice to these women to not be honest. Like, hey, you need to lose weight. You're at risk for this, this, and this just by virtue of being overweight. This is not just about women. This is about men, anyone. Being overweight carries risk. And is this true? Does she have? Now, listen, most people who go to content where people have like a freakish component, like, overweight women doing OF content, that's like a fetish. People will have a fetish for that maybe, and they'll go and do that. But I just really have a hard time believing, honey, that the average fit athlete is coming for you. Call me crazy. But this is the delusion, right? So I want you to see it. Every single girl deluded. Not one girl there was a 10. Objectively, right? Not one girl there was a 10. We can all say it. And yet, look at how they view themselves. And by the way, how they view you in return, because now they think they're up here. So you're like, you got to be up here too. In the meantime, they're here and they see you who's here and you're no good. You're not good enough for them. And you're like, well, did you see? Do you have a mirror, honey? Of course, it's not just about looks, but they're bringing it down to looks in this clip. So we're going to talk about it. Okay, let's go to the second one in that series. It's B. Ooh.
Say I was an ugly girl, which I'm not, and I'm confident in that. Would they still put me in Nordstrom's? Because that's my face.
It's a political agenda.
That's my face. You can't see my body. I'm gorgeous.
It's political.
I'm gorgeous.
They're trying to push a political message.
Push a political message of what? You can't see my body. I have literally been handpicked by my waist up and told I'm one of the most beautiful models in the world. I get flown from New York to LA to Canada to everywhere in between. And you think it's because I'm ugly?
No, I think it's because there's a political tool.
Okay, so out of all the people, like, you don't think there's one pretty one? They're not putting ugly people up on there.
Okay, so let's stop that. Like, that's what he's talking about. It's a political tool. He's talking about this elevation to be politically correct of like, you can't call obese anymore because everyone has to feel beautiful and perfect. Everyone's in a perfect body. No, that's not true. That's not true. And why do we have an easy time saying that when someone's too thin, we have an easy time saying you look malnourished. This is not healthy. But we have a hard time saying that when someone's obese, because it's not politically correct to call an obese person an obese person. But it's totally fine to tell someone who's too skinny, you're too skinny. It's just society made that rule, right? It just shouldn't be that way. You gotta look healthy, right? Something's wrong if your weight is drastically in one direction or the other. It's not good. Can we just objectively say that? Oh, no, Jed, someone who ate, 6 donuts this morning is going to be upset. Too bad. Too bad. And then she says, I'm gorgeous. I'm gorgeous. Then she says that, they're not looking at her body. They look from the face, that you could still say in the face that there's extra weight. No? I mean, is it me? But she says, I'm gorgeous. I'm gorgeous. Even if first of all, no, honey, listen, attractive face, sure. But like, to be saying I'm gorgeous, isn't it just such a turnoff? Isn't it just, and I don't care. The point here is not even about her. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're Megan Fox, who's been altered and doctored and kind of looks like an alien, to be honest. But I don't care who you are. Anyone from a natural beauty who's objectively, everyone's like, wow, this woman is just objectively beautiful, to an altered beauty who some of us think like, oh, that she's pretty but looks like an alien, to someone who's not that attractive. I don't care who you are. If you're saying, I'm gorgeous, you become less attractive as a woman. Do you not? No humility. Okay, let's go to C. It keeps going. Ooh.
If all men just disappeared, do you think the world would be better or worse? All men.
It'd be safer.
Do you actually think the world would be safer if all men disappeared? It would not be safer. It would be absolutely catastrophic.
I think maybe it wouldn't be safer in the terms like maybe a wolf might get me or something.
Well, how many women would freeze to death and starve to death?
Well, if I'm so how am I going to starve to death, Andrew?
Are you saying?
It might be 6 months for you.
Okay. He's going to die. I'm going to make it.
If
I'm
all
okay
men
with that.
were to disappear, the immediate catastrophe that would be.
How?
Okay, so 95% of
because all the
tanker drivers are
run by men.
90%
I'm sorry.
tanker drivers.
Tanker, like in the war?
Tankers.
What's a tanker?
The thing that hauls the gasoline.
Water, sewage, electricity, gas, fuel, refinement, telecommunications, IT infrastructure, road maintenance, delivery drivers, police, fire rescue.
How about other things like fracking, electrical maintenance, nuclear engineering? Like the list goes on and on and on.
Okay. But do you see how now we realize that in addition to the obesity problem, she's bird dead. I mean, can you imagine? And this is amazing. when they say this. They're like, oh, it would be like if men just vanished, it would be so safe. Honey, what would you be doing? You'd have nothing would be maintained in society. He goes through that long list on purpose. And you see how he says the tanker? And she's like, in war? What's a tanker? And he's like, no, just what carries the gas. You'd have no gasoline for your car. He talks about the fracking. So even the origin of the oil would not get to you because it's all men in these jobs. Engineering, building and maintaining roads, bridges, plumbing, all these industries that basically maintain society, maintain your home, maintain the heating and cooling systems, maintain all of it. All of it. In addition to, yes, the military, all that, and people on the front line, it's all men. So this idea, she's like, well, I would only be in danger of like a wolf coming and biting me. She has no acknowledgement that society is built by men. The parts of society that we really need, that we need to function, to have, gas in your car, to have heat in your home, to have things in your house work and get fixed when they break, to have a road to drive on, to have all of these things. It's men. Men have built society and you benefit from it as a woman. And that's great. And you know what you should be saying? Well, thank you guys. Not, oh, I'd be safer if you didn't exist. No, you'd be dead. You'd be dead if they didn't exist. Dead. Yeah, honey, dead.